Mike Puma of the New York Post drops a massive injury bomb in regard to the New York Mets. Plus, Pete Alonso gives his opening remarks in regard to being a New York Met. Next on MetCast. Welcome back to MetCast, friends. As always, I am Rain. If you're enjoying this content, I ask you to hit that like and subscribe button. Turn that notification bell on so you never miss an upload. And today, throughout the workday, everybody's getting ready for our Pete Alonso initial press conference. And boom, here comes Mike Puma out of left field. Here you have it. Per Mike Puma, Frankie Montas is dealing with a high-grade latch strain and is shut down for 6 to 8 weeks, says Carlos Mendoza. Now, think about the impact that is going to have on this rotation. I mean, you're relying on some guys who are coming off either their best year or an injury-plagued year. And I know a lot of Met fans are going to sit here and say, well, Ray, he is our sixth starter, our fifth starter, our fourth starter. But here's the point. He's making $17.5 million a year. He has an opt-in for next year at $17.5 million. So when you look at this rotation right now, you're probably looking at Manaea, Stanga, Peterson, Holmes, and then we're looking at Canning, Montas, McGill, maybe Brandon Sproat if he absolutely showed out in camp, but I doubt that would happen. So that's the big issue with this injury. He hasn't thrown one pitch for our New York Mets, and he's already going to be sidelined for approximately a month or two. And I just seen a recent update from our boy Pat Ragazzo over at Sports Illustrated, said he's going to get a PRP injection in his lat, and he's supposed to miss 6 to 8 weeks and then start throwing, and he's going to need a full spring training to get back. So you're looking at possibly 3 months, February, March, April. You're hoping that he's ready sometime mid to end of May, potentially, which really sucks right now because we're relying on that depth. And yes, we have depth. And I wonder if that was a bit of subliminal messaging, because supposedly it was put out there that he hasn't thrown in a while, quote unquote, a while. So I'm wondering if David Stearns knew about this injury prior to his previous interview he did with MLB Network, where he said one thing that he could praise this year that we didn't have last year, and it's that depth that we've had in this starting rotation. So I'm wondering if he was kind of putting that out as subliminal messaging. A couple of quick thoughts that come to my mind. Are there other arms out there that wouldn't cost a ton that the New York Mets could go out there and get? And yes, I know, I've seen it all over X. Go get Dylan Cease. Go get Michael King. Let's be realistic here, fans. The New York Mets are not going to be trading any of their top prospects right now for a rental pitcher. It's just not happening. So I'm trying to be realistic. Maybe you go out there and you kick the doors on a guy who's already been here, who's had success here. And yes, I'm talking about Jose Quintana, who pitched great for us last year. Yes, he's older, but he's another lefty. He's been very serviceable. And if things don't work out, maybe you get rid of him. But here's the issue. He might get $8 to $12 million for that 1-year contract. And I don't know if Steve Cohen's going to say, yeah, let's bring him in at $10 million a year. But with the luxury tax, it's like we're paying him $22 million. So a typical frontline starter. I just don't know if that's a possibility. Maybe you give him an incentive-laden contract. Clearly, he doesn't have a crazy market because no other team has signed him as of yet. But you see, Lance Lynn, his name was being brought up. A lot of different guys' names being brought up. And I was thinking while I was talking to my co-host, Dan Bartels, what other options could potentially be out there. And one name came to mind that's an in-house option. And yes, he was lights out in the pen for us last year, but he does come from being a starting pitcher. He pitches multiple innings for us. And I'm talking about Jose Butto. And I think Jose Butto could legitimately be an option for us out of the pen, especially if you're going to go for a 5-man rotation out the bat. I know Mendoza said earlier today that regardless of this injury, they're still planning on going with a 6-man rotation, but there's going to be a lot of off days to lead off this season. So maybe, just maybe, you use Buto in a spot start here and a spot start there with the included off days. You'll still be skipping your 6th starter quite frequently. But this is just a big concern to me. I'm not gonna lie. Kodai Senga missed the entire year last year. Sean Manaea had the best year of his career at age 33. David Peterson finally put it together at age 29. There's no consistency there, and that's what I'm looking for in a rotation. Senga's got the injury concern. Ken Manaea put it together in back-to-back years, being paid to do that. And is this the new David Peterson, or is this going to be a 1-year blip on the radar? And let's not forget, Clay Holmes has been a relief pitcher. He was a starter early on in his career, didn't work out. The Yankees remolded him, ended up being a great closer for them, and the Mets are bringing him back in, praying that he could be a starter. And if that doesn't work out, the New York Mets could be in a lot of trouble. Let's be honest here. Griffin Canning, another guy, failed starter, was cut last year. Nobody wanted him. We picked him up for $4.5 million. But one thing I could lay my head on my pillow and feel comfortable at night. Let's be honest. David Stearns has had a keen eye his entire career, whether it's a GM or president of baseball operations, finding these pitchers that end up just working out, whether it's a Sean Manaea like last year, redeveloped him, changed his pitching slot, lowered his pitching slot, started pitching from a further part of the mound to throw across his body. Luis Severino rediscovering himself. No, he doesn't throw 100 miles an hour anymore, but he learned to pitch as a New York Met, and the A's ended up paying for that. And let's not forget, David Peterson had the best year of his career under David Stearns' tutelage. Yes, Jeremy Hefner gets a lot of credit. He is clearly a top 3 pitching coach in MLB, but I believe David Stearns has a keen eye for finding these reclamation projects and turning them into something. Go back and look at David Stearns' bullpens over the years in Milwaukee, and even last year with the New York Mets. He finds these guys out of nowhere. He finds a thing or two that he thinks that they're going to be really good at, and they stick to it, and they turn out to be good. Think about it. We just heard that Clay Holmes is officially adding that changeup to his repertoire, which the Yankees said for years they could see him being a starter, but he has to add that third pitch. He can't just be a sinker fastball guy. That third pitch that he's going to rely on is that changeup, and I think that it will play as long as that ground ball ratio is still there for him. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments about this Frankie Montas injury. Am I overreacting? Maybe you guys think I am. Maybe you think that it's not that crazy. Mets do have enough in-house. Maybe you guys think Brandon Sproat is ready. Let me know down in the comments. Now, I want to get to this next section here. Pete Alonso was finally reintroduced as a New York Met. I want to give you a couple of my favorite clips that I have of his press conference today. Some serious, some not so serious, and some things that he was able to laugh at. Let's take a look. This first clip of Pete Alonso is whether or not he would want to have a long-term extension with the New York Mets.
This is obviously a short-term deal. What is your appetite to eventually not just get a long-term deal, but get a long-term deal here?
I mean, yeah, that'd be fantastic. Like for me, like I've had a great first 6 seasons, and people have been so receptive. Like this has been home, and yeah, that'd be fantastic. Like this is like just such a great organization. There's such great people here, like not just coaches, players, but whether it be clubbies, support staff, analytics. Like this, it's just a fantastic place, and yeah, that could be really awesome.
This next clip, he talks about the pressure of being in the big leagues and whether or not this new contract puts a new pressure on him.
Some players talk about the pressure of a platform season kind of getting in their mind a little bit. Do you feel that affected your performance in any way last year?
I mean, there's pressure. I mean, there's pressure every year. This is the big leagues. There's and also with with being in New York and last year for us, like our we wanted to make the playoffs and obviously win a World Series. There's pressure every single year, whether the contract situation, like that, all that'll take care of itself as long as you play well. But for me, like I felt pressure to perform my best season every single year because this is the highest level. It's the big leagues.
And here is one of my favorite clips of Pete Alonso talking about whether or not he has thought about breaking the New York Mets all-time home run record.
Pete, you've talked a lot about the team goals trying to get back this year, but for you personally, you've got an opportunity this year to set the Mets all-time home run record. Have you given that much thought, and what would that mean to you?
No, I haven't given it any thought. No, I mean that's yeah, of course I've given it thought. I think that's again to be able to have that is special, and to do it in the if I yeah, granted if I stay healthy and go out and do it, if that were to happen, I mean yeah, that's something I've been thinking about, and to be a part of this franchise in that way, because I mean yeah, that would be really special, and yeah, can't wait.
And those are some of my favorite comments in regard to Pete Alonso's press conference. He also goofed off about at the end about whether or not he was exhausted through this whole process. He said he wasn't exhausted, but maybe Scott was, or maybe Steve was, but sorry to Steve. It was funny. It was towards the end of his press conference. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. What do you think about the Montas injury? How happy are you to see Pete? What about these clips going around about Juan Soto? You know, we're posting them all over our social media platforms. Again, thank you so much for sticking around. If you stuck around this late in the video, please like and subscribe. Set those notifications so you never miss an upload. We'll be sure to bring you all the latest Mets content, and look forward to seeing you on our live Thursday night with Nelson Figueroa, the former starting pitcher of our New York Mets. Again, I will be at spring training next week, taking videos, doing interviews. If you're going to be down there, make sure to let me know if you're going to be down there. Maybe we could link up, get a photo, do a quick interview. I'd love to do a couple fan segments. And until next time, let's go Mets. Take care.